I'm certain that we are all aware of what finger pointing is. There is a fine line between pointing a finger and blaming, so it is important to increase awareness so that we don't get sucked right back into the blame game. Finger pointing is also a form of victim mentality. I have to admit, I was stuck in finger pointing logic for quite a while. I did the whole if-then thing. If only they would listen to me instead of judging by what they see. If only they would focus on the spiritual instead of what others see or anticipate. If only we could deal with right now instead of past and future. If only he would stop yelling, I could relax. If only he would stop spending money, we could get ahead. If only I hadn't married him, I wouldn't be so unhappy. If only I didn't have these religious beliefs, I could escape him. If only I didn't care so much, it wouldn't hurt. I still wasn't convinced that I actually did have a choice in these matters. So I attempted to explain, to reason, and to justify why my life was so unhappy and hopeless. And it always came down to the who's and the what's that were responsible for my reality. It wasn't so much blame anymore, but rather a fact-based thought process that ultimately created an acceptance for my situation. What I was doing by finger pointing was talking myself into being okay with what was happening in my life and squashing any hope of change, and finally, any thought of change. This was truly the lowest time in my life. I had been to therapy. I knew that I was abused and controlled. I was aware that change needed to happen. I was overwhelmed by the extent of the changes that were coming, and I was scared, so very scared, of whatever the future held. So far, my life was one disappointment after another. I felt totally alone. I had no friends. I had no family. I had no home. I was 40 years old and starting over from scratch. And the real kicker, I had done this to myself. It was the choices and decisions that I had made that had gotten me here. If there was anyone to blame or point the finger at, it was myself. And so I had a choice. Was I going to remain stuck in victim mentality mode, or was I going to forgive myself and move forward the rest of my life and all of the possibilities and opportunities that were out there for me? The choice was mine. I have the opportunity to think for myself and live the life that I choose to live, whatever that is.